Hello, Stitchy friends. How are you? Welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Sally. I am Flossy Sews and Grows here on YouTube and on Instagram. So pop over there and visit me as well. This is Flosstube number 45 and it is Friday the 25th of October. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been an exciting week because I hit 2,000 subscribers. So I'm really pleased to have done that. Just a little milestone. Just a little milestone. I know numbers aren't always important, are they? But it's just nice to have a little goal, have a little target and be able to hit it. So thank you if you're joining me, if you're a new subscriber or if you're a regular visitor. It's absolutely great to have you here and I hope you enjoy listening to what I have to say, predominantly about my cross stitch and a little bit of life and various bits and bobs. If you haven't yet subscribed and you do like what you see, please do consider subscribing. It just means that you can be notified of when I bring out a new Flosstube, but also it just gives me a little boost that people are watching and people are interested in what I'm doing. So I do have a little giveaway at the end, as promised, so please do hang on for that. And so many of you have joined Sarah at Sew Me Sarah and I with our hashtag fun for 50 Sal. And I do have a couple, actually, I have a couple of FF homes, but neither of them were started this year. So, you know, most of my stitching is part of the fun for 50 Sal. But so I have, yeah, variety of stuff here on the ironing board to show you. So where should we start? We'll start with an FFO. So I have a fully finished object for you. So you will have seen me stitch this. Was it last year? Was it the year before? Can't quite remember. I think this is actually I think I did actually stitch this in the end of 2021. I think when I first started Flosstube, I did a little challenge of 13 new starts in 13 days for of Halloween things, and this was one of those. And it sat here in the box of doom, and I thought, right, I need to make sure that anything that is for Halloween is out of the box of doom and fully finished and on the wall for Halloween. So this came out and I've just done, so this is The Good Witch and it is by Sub Rosa Designs, and it was actually in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. So it's stitched, it's a small from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, which Sarah at Sarah's Stitchy Spot is doing a hashtag of hashtag stitch smalls from PNPS, so that would count for that. It is a 40 count mystery fabric. I'm not entirely sure what I've stitched it on. It was out of my magic stash bag and I'm pretty sure I've used the call for threads for that, but I do love her. She was a joy to stitch and she is now up on the wall ready for Halloween. So really pleased with her. And this little board, so really all I had to do was I laced her at the back on some mat board, and I put a little bit of wadding in there. And then this little clipboard I bought it a couple of years ago and I'd been using it for a Christmas stitch. So it was just sitting around without the Christmas stitch in it, because obviously that has been put away, and I just thought she'll look great on that. So that's how she got finished. Because I think the problem with this one was I couldn't decide whether I wanted to frame her or whether I wanted to do a little pillow with her, and I think probably neither. So this is an absolutely perfect solution. So I'm really pleased with that one. Then that piece de resistance. Now this is there's just a little bit more to fully finish on this, but I wanted to get it in a position where I could hang it up for Halloween, and I pretty much can. So here we go. This is the Supernatural Sal from the Witchy Stitcher, and I basically finished it. I finished it as if you were making a little pillow. I've stitched right sides together and then turned it inside out and left a turning hole at the bottom. And then I've just got a little bit of rickrack to hang it. Now, the way I'm hanging it at the moment, it's just working. But what I think I will need to do after Halloween is actually just stitch a bit of cane on the back of that to hang the ribbon from, just to hold it firm and hold it straight, so that it can go in a more permanent position maybe in here when it's not Halloween. But I'm so pleased that this, and yeah, I've just used this wonderful Halloween fabric to back it. So I stitched this. I started this in 2021. Did I finish it this year? No, I finished it. I finished it just after Stitch in London last year, because Lolly and I were both doing it. Or did I finish it for Stitch in London? I can't remember, but Lolly was also stitching it, and she did stitch it at Stitch in London last year. I can't quite remember when I finished it, but again, because it's Halloweeny, it was in the box of doom. I wanted to get it so that I could have it on the wall. So it was stitched on a 32 count even weave from Sophie at Stitchy Ferret, and I stitched it predominantly with the called for threads, but I did make quite a lot of substitutions. So here you can see I substituted fancy floss here. That's Cinders, one of my favourite colours. Another fancy floss for the little bats. I used black etoile for all the names, and a lot of the so you can see for the vampiress, I used black etoile to make it shiny. So I did actually substitute quite a lot, just to give it a little bit of oomph, and yeah, and then actually the little bits, the little doodahs along the bottom, I don't quite know what they are. The little ghosts actually was a variegated thread from Sophie at Stitchy Ferret as well. So you can see some really good variegation on that. So it was just about being creative with that one, really, when I picked it up. When I first got it, I was still, so in 2021, I was still a relatively new back to cross stitch stitcher. Hadn't, I'd kind of picked it up. Was it 2022 I started this? Kind of picked cross stitch back up in 2021, and this was 2022. Just I'd kind of discovered Flosstube, discovered things outside kind of traditional cross stitch, and this was me being a bit of a rebel and going, I'm going to do something different, completely different. I bought a PDF, and then I'm stitching on really crazy fabric and not following the colours at all, and yeah. And so just, for me, this was a bit of a move away from the tradition that I was kind of brought up with of stitching. And just, yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. And, it was quite a big one for me. So I'm very, very pleased with my two fully finished objects. And then I do actually have a couple of finishes as well. So at the weekend, we were away at the weekend. One of my oldest friends, so my best friend since I was 5, it was her 50th birthday, and she was having a party in a really, really nice hotel. We loved the hotel. We had such a nice day there, and it was a really good party, but it was a good 4-hour journey there and 4-hour journey back. And on the way, we dropped Felicity at her aunt's house so she could stay there for the weekend with her cousins, and she saw her paternal grandparents and just had a lovely weekend, and it was great timing. So of course I got a little bit of time to stitch in the car, and the thing that I have been stitching in the car for a few months now is Yasmin's Made with Love Summer Bouquet, and there we go. I think that's beautiful. It's very summery, very summery, reminds me of the summer. So I stitched this on, it's 36 count Bluetiful from Fabrics by Crafty Kate, which is actually the called for fabrics. I predominantly, I think I did actually use all of the DMC apart from one. I think it's 731, I think, is in there, but actually I couldn't get hold of that. So I think I've substituted for something else. And yeah, I started it. It was start number 29 of my 50, and I started it in June. So, you know, predominantly been stitched in the car when we've been going away or travelling. And yeah, so I'm quite glad to have got it finished. It seemed to take longer than it probably should have done, but there were kind of gaps in between there. And then, oh, I'm really pleased with this finish. So this was a little bit inspired by Jacinta at Crafting on the Plains, and I think, did I see it as she just started it, or did I see her start and go, oh, I've got to do it? And then I think I showed my start as well, and Sarah W also saw mine and Jacinta's and was like, right, I'm joining too. So the three of us have done it. Sarah has finished and I have too. So here we are. It's October 31st by Blackbird Designs, and I'm absolutely, this is, let me do it with the folding the fabric over rather than the board, because I think you see it better then. Let's just pop it on this side. See if the colour, that starts pretty good reference for colour. So this is stitched on 40 count linen from Swan Bay Fabrics, and the colour is on the little label. Marie does these lovely labels. So this is Marie from Stitches and Diamonds, who's launched Swan Bay Fabrics. Does these fabulous little labels for the fabric. So it's Heartfield Moss. So it's a beautiful green. And I've stitched this with a Roxy Flossco thread called Caspian. And I think it's had some great variety in it, great variegation. So from a darker navy blue to a lighter blue. So I'm really pleased with that. Have got some mistakes. I'm not going to point them out to you though. Why would I? Why would I? Yeah, there's a couple just odd things, but it's great. You wouldn't notice them without really looking at the pattern, I don't think. As you can hear, I am feeling pretty good, but you can just still hear that bit of, still got that, kind of when you've got a little bit of, your ears need to pop. I've still got that little bit of congestion in my head, but I'm feeling so much better. And thank you for everybody that messaged to say, oh, I hope you feel better soon or get better, because I have felt pretty rotten over the last couple of weeks, but it's the time of year, isn't it? I'll try not to be coughing too much. So those were my finishes, and I have had a start. So I think I've got a little bit confused. I've got a feeling I might have said to you that Sarah and I, so this is one of the charts patterns that Sarah at Sew Me Sarah and I are starting together this month, and it's Plum Street Samplers Home for Christmas. I've got a feeling I might have been saying we were going to start it on the 26th of October. Can't quite remember, but I listened to Sarah earlier in the week and she definitely said we were starting it on the 25th, which of course is today. So I made a little start. I thought I've got to make a little start before I talk to you. So there we go. It's a teeny weeny start. And I'm stitching this on the called for fabric, which is Winter Brew by R&R Reproductions, which I kindly, Rachel at Talking Dog Stitcher was able to source for me. So really pleased with that. Yeah, it does smell of, is that coffee? I don't know. Maybe I think my smell might be a little bit off at the moment with the old COVID. And I'm stitching this. See, I've been stitching it this morning, so the threads are still behind me on my thread wall. So the threads are predominantly, well, not predominantly, they're about half and half of any. I've got a couple of the fancy floss, which are Wheat Dye Works, and there's a hickory sticks in there as well. And then there are 4 DMCs in there, which I think Let me just check. Oh yeah, so there's 4 DMCs and then all the rest. So they're all the called for threads. I thought I had the DMCs because I'd substituted. I didn't have the fancy floss, but no, they are the called for ones. So let's pop them back there so I know where they are later on. So that's my one start. I have had another start, but that's a secret Christmas stitch, so I can't talk to you about that one just yet, but I'll show that to you eventually when it's been gifted. So that start was number 45 of my 50, so only 5 to go. And the prompt for that, so as you know, Sarah and I, when we first started talking about doing our Fun for 50 Sal, we said, oh, everybody come up with some prompts for us and we can try and see if we can find some stitches to fit your prompts. Anyway, I think it's been a little bit of both of us trying to sorry, just had a call coming through. I've cancelled that. Yeah, so I think it's been more about me trying to work the prompts around my projects. So there we go. So for this one, we had a prompt from Natalie at Sew Stitch Sew Nat, and the prompt was start a pillow. Now I'm pretty sure, depending on the size of this, it will be a pillow when I finish it. We'll see. We'll see. There we go. Right, whips. I do have a few whips. So first of all, for whip number 1, this is the one I started working on straight after I finished filming last time, and that is Twin Bird Pincushion by Chloe Wood, who is a girl with a gavel stitches. And this is one that we had as part of our welcome pack last year at the Stitch in London 2023. And I got cracking with this one straight after talking to you last time, because I'd asked you for thoughts on, it was either last video or the video before, can't quite remember actually now, thoughts on what to put here. And as you can see, I haven't yet done that, but what I did do, I think if I've got a photo I will have popped it in for you to see where I was up to last time. But what I have done since I spoke to you last time was I have done all of the sides now. The only thing I need to do on those sides is just add some, there's just a few crosses, little crosses in there to add, and then I obviously need to fill this in. And I'd asked you for ideas of what you thought I should pop in the middle there, and there were quite a few ideas, and I think I had thought I might put Fun for 50, and quite a few of you agreed that that would be really good. So that is what I'm going to do. Obviously I just need to have a little bit of time to chart it up now. We'll find, I think Chloe has a, on her website she said she had a alphabet that we could use if we wanted to change the lettering, but I've got plenty of charts that have got letters in, so if I can't find that, I'll find something that is suitable for it. And then that'll be a finish. That will be a finish. So I'm hoping, it's half term next week and I've got the week off work, so we are spending some time with family, but also we'll have a little bit of time at home as well. So I'm hoping next week I get to chart this up and stitch it, and then it'll be a finish. So really pleased with that one. I'm stitching that with 3 Roxy Floss colours, so Pink 182, Royale, love this blue, and then also Pewter. And then actually just for the back stitch around these here, because you won't really see the back stitch because I'll use the back stitch to stitch it all together. I've just used the DMC closest to Royale, which is 3750. Just didn't want to waste my Royale on the back stitch that I'm not really going to see very much of. So as it's fancy floss, wanted to keep that for something a little bit more special. So that's whip number 1. My second whip was Feast of Friendship, and I think you'll notice the next couple are really autumny ones. I've really been trying to get on with my autumn stitches. So Feast of Friendship, and this is another blackbird, and I've been stitching this with Lisa from Lisa, who's Lost in Stitches, And we've been stitching this with the hashtag Feast of Friendship for Lisa Sal, because Lisa had said on her first video back after a few months off of not filming with being poorly that she was going to stitch it, and I said, oh well, let's do it together and let's have it as a celebration of friendship for all the kind of love and friendship that we have in our community, and certainly that Lisa felt and she got, you know, during the time that she was ill and she wasn't filming, and people reaching out and offering that friendship and kindness. So this, I haven't, this is where I've got to, not a huge amount of progress. I think I've stitched the pineapple, and I've stitched, I don't know if there's a peach that's appearing. So not a huge amount of progress. This is on 40 count Cafe au lait from Zweigart, and I'm using the fancy floss where I've got it on this. And because I think it's 40 count, it is I'm finding it quite small, smaller perhaps than sometimes other 40 counts. So it's quite a delicate. There's quite a lot of, you know, that pineapple counting and colour changing. So it's perhaps just a little bit slower maybe than other projects that I have been working on, but you know, little bit of progress here and there, and we'll get there. So I am stitching that with predominantly the fancy floss where I've got it, but I think there's just one or two substitutions for DMC where I didn't have the fancy floss. I think one of them being the that big vase there. Vase, vase. It's a bowl, I think, probably. My next whip, which I'm keeping in my beautiful smiley pumpkin bag, I love this bag, is Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. And I started stitching this for my friend Caroline's birthday, Caroline, who is Caroline Stitch Corner, and we were using the hashtag Look at the Stars Sal. Now Caroline has already finished this, super speedy stitcher, and also Alex, Salex Stitches, was stitching it with us too, and she's already finished it. So I feel a little bit behind, but then I was on a Zoom call with Alex and Caroline, and I was stitching this, and then yeah, I was then encouraged to stitch something else. So this has been put down since that Zoom call. But on that Zoom call, I have managed to make some progress. And on the Zoom call, I did manage to, I didn't iron this one. Let's just take those clips out and see if I can fold it this way, if that flattens it slightly. But I did manage to get quite a bit of this house done. So I've definitely got that house stitched since you last looked at it, and I did manage to get quite a bit done on my Zoom call with those two. And I've got more filled in on this. I think there was a colour missing that I've had added to my stash. So it's not actually a massive chart. That house is a bit of a biggie, but I think once that's done, it won't actually take too long. So although, you know, Halloween is next week, I probably will stop stitching Halloween stuff next week. Although I've only got Away We Ride. Is that my only Halloween stitch at the moment? When I think this is more autumny. So actually I'll probably carry on with this. But will I be then swayed by Christmas? Don't know. We'll have to see. But I do enjoy stitching on this one, and it is on it's on a 36 count light mocha, and predominantly I think I'm using all of the fancy floss for that. I don't think I've had to make any substitutions. The sun's coming out. It's quite a dim, dismal day here in Wales, but the sun is just, I can see there's a mountain that I can see from this window if I stand up, but I can just see a little bit of it through the houses that kind of are opposite me. and the mountain's kind of in a little bit of mist, but the sun is just shining on it. So it's not a very big mountain. It sounds very glamorous, doesn't it? There's a mountain. It's not a big mountain at all. You can pretty much drive pretty much to the top. Yeah, it's maybe a mile to get up to the top, and then you're pretty much at the top when you walk there. But actually, I spent a lot of time there as a child, running up and around those parts. So yeah, it's quite where I live. It's quite I live in a village which probably I think the population is about 3,000. So it's not a tiny village. It's quite a big village. We've got 2 pubs. We've got a post office. We've got 2 kind of small grocery shops. We've got a cafe. Yeah, we've got a bit. I mean, the school used to have the school on 2 sites, but we've had a new school built now, for kind of up to 11. The school that my daughter goes to is in the next village over, so she does have to get a bus to that. So it's not a massive village, and we're quite close to. So our kind of nearest city is Chester, we're just inside the border of North Wales, and then Chester is our biggest city, which is 20 minutes, 25 minutes drive, and that's in England. So we're just on the border. Chester is beautiful. If you're ever coming to the northwest, you're ever coming to Wales, Chester is a real place to go and visit. It really is beautiful. And then, of course, many of you, I know Steph from Cross Stitch the Globe mentioned this on her Flosstube, that she watched Welcome to Wrexham. Well, actually, Wrexham is only 15 minutes away, so that's just on the border too. And I think has Wrexham now been made a city, or is it still a town? And it kind of traditionally hasn't been the nicest of places, but actually Rob and Ryan, who've come and bought Wrexham Football Club, have really worked hard to bring life to the town, and they've made a real buzz there. It's fantastic. It's great to see it kind of being a bit more of an up and coming place, which is wonderful. Anyway, back to the stitching. Enough about where I live. So my next whip is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. I love this one. Absolutely love this one. So I'm stitching this with Sherry, who is Just So Sherry, Lauren from Flossabilities, and Rachel, who is the Talking Dog Stitcher. And we are stitching this with a hashtag of Away We Stitch. And you will see I have made quite a bit of progress since you last saw this. So I have very much got quite a bit of that house filled in. I've managed to stitch all of these, I don't know, are they apples on the tree? I'm not entirely sure. And started on that blackbird, and then I've actually moved across to the border. Now, I was watching Just So Sherry a couple of days ago, and she has started, did she start top right? And she said, oh, I'm finding it a bit of a bind. I'm finding it, not enjoying it perhaps as much as I thought I would. And I was like, well, that's a bit strange. I'm loving it. It's fantastic. I can't put it down. But she was doing the border, and I thought, oh, I wonder if it's because it's the border, and it's quite, it's quite a big, this is all the way around. It's all the way around. And I just thought, oh, maybe I should just work across a little bit and get to that border, so that I'm actually doing some of it as well as doing all the really good stuff in the middle. Just slowly work on that. So that's what I've done. I've made my way across, so now I should be able to start working on that border as well, so I can add a bit of variety into it. But it's a fabulous pattern, and I'm stitching it on 36 count XU design Grandpa's sleeve, and it's a joy. It's an absolute joy to stitch on. It's just, yeah, I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. So yes, and actually even that bit of border that I stitched the other night, I enjoyed that too. So I'm hoping that, yeah, well, I suppose once I've kind of done quite a bit of it, it might get a bit monotonous. But hopefully if I can swap and change a little bit and go in and out, I'll be okay with that. And I did buy, so this pattern I bought from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitchery, and I think as did Sherry and Lauren as well. So I do actually have a code for Talking Dog Stitchery for my viewers to use. So if you want to shop at Rachel's shop, you can visit her website, and if you put in the code Flossy5, you will get a 5% discount, which is it's off a minimum spend of £10. So I'll pop a link down below in the description box and that code so that you can use it if you so wish. But Rachel does have a wonderful variety of patterns, and actually I'd seen something on Handmade by Sarah W a couple of weeks ago that I thought I really like that, and Rachel didn't have it, but I have emailed her and said, do you think you could get this in? And she's like, yeah, of course I can, I'll add that to my next order. So anytime there's anything that you think, oh, I've seen that, ask Rachel if she can get it for you. She will. So once that arrives, I will share. So I am stitching Away We Ride with the fancy flosses, which are all absolutely gorgeous. There's a few more that are on. I've got a massive big ring behind me, which has Away We Ride, Cinnamon Stars, Feast of Friendship. There's a lot of the same colours. These are the ones that are only for Away We Ride, and then on the big ring there's also the ones that Away We Ride uses that the others do too. So it's kind of, I'm normally walking around with a massive ring for whichever one of those projects I'm working on to make sure I've got all of the flosses with me. And then my final WIP, haven't actually managed to do an awful lot on this one. This was my birthday start. This is Americana Blue by October House Fibre Arts. I also bought this chart from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitcher. And I am stitching this. There's quite a few who have joined me in stitching this. So this has got a hashtag of Sally's Americana for 50. And Sarah, Somi Sarah, is stitching it. I think she's stitching it in red though. Natalie from So Stitch So Nat is stitching it. Caroline from Caroline Stitch Corner is stitching it. My friend Marianne, she is stitching it as well. Caroline Christmas is stitching it. And I've got another Caroline written down here as well. I don't know if that's the same Caroline as Caroline Stitch Corner. I'm not sure. But if you are also stitching it with me, please do tag me in on Instagram so that I can see your progress. So I think I haven't looked at the... should have looked at the photo of where I was last time. But I think... Had I started the scissors last time you saw it? You'll have seen exactly where I got up to last time. I've got a feeling I've only had one stitchy session on this actually. It could have been a couple of sessions in one day. I could have stitched on it on a weekend and stitched it in the morning and in the evening. But I think since you last saw it, I've started those scissors. So you can see I haven't done a huge amount, but again, little and often gets the job done, doesn't it? And I'm stitching this. This fabric is beautiful. It's from Those Missing Stitches, and it's a 36 count linen, but it's not named. And I am using Cottage Gardens thread Labelle. And I have a couple of skeins of this. And actually, I wasn't sure if there was a slight difference between a Labelle that I already had, and I ordered some new ones, 2 new skeins as well. And I think there could be just a very slight variation in the shades. But then I thought, well, I'm going to use both and I'm going to alternate so that it should then give me just a little bit more variegation in that stitch as I'm only using the one colour. So that's my progress so far. Slow and steady. And I'm keeping that, as it was my 50th birthday start, I'm keeping it in the beautiful bag that Stitches with Charlie Feathers made me with the chickens and that 50 in the middle. I love this bag. I think it's one of my favourite bags now. So that is being kept in there. there we go. So plans, that's all my whips. So it doesn't seem like very many, but I think I wanted to get those finishes. I've spent some time fully finishing, wanted to get those finishes. Yeah, and then Away We Ride has really been that's been the one that I've just wanted to pick up every time I've walked in and thought, what am I going to stitch? It's been that one. So quite a bit on that one. So, oh, I've got a bit of an impromptu. I think I'm gonna have an impromptu start. So Rachel at Talking Dog Stitcher announced that it's her birthday next week, and she is starting a primitive hare. And she's doing it with Just So Sherry as well. And they said, if anyone has a primitive hare chart that they would like to start with us, please do. And that's on the 30th of October. And it's going to be a hashtag Hair of the Dog Sal. And I just thought, well, I bought this at the Big Stitch. And I just thought, I really, really want to start this. So this will be start number 46. I have no right. I am going to end up doing more than 50 new starts. But so Sarah, so whatever. At least I'm doing more than 50 and not less. So I'm going to start this, and I'm kind of going a little bit, I think I'm going a little bit wild. If you remember, the lovely Caroline from Caroline Stitch Corner gifted me this piece of fabric that she had hand dyed when she came over to the Big Stitch, because I drove around a bit, her, Whitney, and Kim in the end. Any waif and stray comes my way, I look after them. So she hand dyed me this absolutely amazing purpley pink fabric, because she knows these are my favourite colours, and you'll know she knows these are my favourite colours because you'll see something else in a minute from her. So I think I'm going to do it on this fabric. Now, if you can see, there's the writing, and then there's this border, and then there's the little hairs. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to do the writing in this colour, which is called Le Ciel. Not sure how to pronounce that properly, which is this beautiful purple. Lovely variegation on it. I think I'm going to use Roxy Flossco Shy Violet for the kind of bits around the outside here. These bits kind of almost looks a bit Celtic, but it's only squares and crosses, but it does look fancy. It does look fancy. And then the little bunnies, I think I'm going to use Roxy Flossco Titanium for the bunnies. So I think that could look absolutely amazing. I might start it and go, ooh, it doesn't look right, but I will be, there's a couple of my friends that give me quite good advice, so I will be putting a couple of stitches in on the 30th and sending it their way and going, what do you think? But I think it's going to look really good. And, you know, ho-hum, it's going to be mine. It's going to be up in my stitchy room, I would imagine, because it says, you know, it's a great saying, isn't it? It's not hoarding if it's cross stitch. I love it. So that is going to be an impromptu new start that I had no plans to do. So that's going to be number 46. And then I am starting on the 1st of November, Nessie Mitchell, which I'll pop a picture here. This is by Mama Loves You GB, and Sarah and I were kindly both gifted this by Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. She contacted us, I think it was the back end of last year, and said, I'd really like to gift both of you a chart for you to do in your 50th year. Pick whatever you'd like. And we both loved Nessie Mitchell. So we both said, yeah, let's choose that one. We'll do it together and we'll stitch it as part of Black Sampler November. So I have, and it's not a massive chart. It's not all that huge. I have just enough fabric on one of these beautiful samples that Marie sent me from Swan Bay Fabric. This is Highbury Gold. So it's a very The light is not quite. So it's very, very pale. There's a little tint of yellow in it, kind of yellowy cream. It's beautiful. And one of my favourite colours, like you heard me say this earlier, is Gentle Arts Cinders. So I think, I don't want to go black, but I thought kind of if I go Ready Black, Charlie Feathers knows me very well that she sent me this. She sent me a skein of this for my birthday, Cinders. I think she'd heard me say, so I'm going to give that a go. I might change my mind. I might change my mind. I have a lovely box of samples from Marie, so I might just dive into that and maybe pick another fabric. But at the moment, that is my plan for the 1st of November. Trying to make it black sampler, but I might have to change my mind. I don't know. We'll just, next week, half term, I've got a bit more time to kind of sit and plan. I feel that some of these kind of last minute, well, this hasn't been last minute because Nessie Mitchell's been on the cards since the beginning of the year, but obviously things come along, don't they? Nice new fabrics and nice things. Yeah, kind of part of me thought I could put it on that wild pink fabric from Caroline and go a bit crazy with it. But then I quite like the traditionalness of it being a sampler. And this is the other thing I haven't yet decided actually what name to put on it. So I could put either of my maternal or my paternal mother's names on it. I had great relationships with both of them. But then I have thought it's quite a special year for me. So actually I could put my name on it. So yeah, what do you think? Could I put my own name on it? Why not? With my date of birth or the year that it is now to say that I'm 50. What do you think? Let me know what you think. So those are my plans for the next week or so. And then at the moment I then don't have a start until the 8th of December, where I'm starting Strawberry Fields with Sarah for her birthday start. So that will be start number 48. And then that leaves me with 2 spots, one of which I think I know what I'm going to do, and then one which, yeah, I'm just could be one of a number of things. And I am starting to plan next year. So thank you for all of those of you that gave me some fantastic ideas for next year. I think a couple of you have said I should do 50 finishes in 2025. I think that will still be quite a tall order actually, because I think I'm now on about 25 whips. There might be a couple of those which do get finished before the end of the year. I'm going to have no more than 5 new starts, maybe 6. So actually I'll probably be going into the new year with around 25 whips. Most of which are actually quite big. So to do 50 finishes for next year, I think is going to be a bit of a tall order, because I think I'll have to stitch a lot to finish 50. So I don't know. I think that's quite a big one. You know, it's quite easy to start something and put it down, but to finish 50 is yeah. I think at the moment, am I on between 25 and 30 finishes maybe? I'll have to count it. I'm not entirely sure. So I think 50 finishes would be quite a big task. What I'm thinking is doing a different kind of challenge maybe each month, and I've got a couple of ideas in mind for each of the months. So I think certainly January and February and maybe March I will perhaps think about a little bit more and kind of come up with some hashtags maybe and tell you about those in my next Flosstube. Again, half term gives me a little bit of time to kind of think and take a breath and plan what's going on. So 2 more things to tell you about. First of all, So Caroline Stitch Corner, I said I had something else to show, which she'd obviously used my favourite colours. So she messaged me just before my birthday and said, I hope you don't mind, but your birthday present is going to be a little bit late. I'm going to bring it to Stitch in London with me and post it in the UK, because it will get there more quickly and cheaper than posting it from Austria. So I think the Saturday, I think she'd posted it on the Thursday, and it arrived, I think it actually arrived the next day. It either arrived on the Friday or the Saturday. And so I was able to message her at Stitch in London and say, it's arrived, I love it, and send her a little photo. She has made me the most gorgeous, I'm not sure if this is a cowl or a snood. I think it's a snood. And it's just, oh, it's lovely. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And my colours, and my perfect for me, perfect for my colours. So she has knitted this for me. And actually, when we went to the Big Stitch, we specifically got to Rotherham in time that I could take Caroline to the yarn store, and she saw this yarn there and bought it for me. She knew I'd love the colours. So it's perfect, isn't it? Absolutely perfect. So absolutely, thank you, Caroline. I know I've already thanked you directly, but I do love it, and it's just absolutely perfect for me, and hopefully it'll help me get rid of this and stay well for the rest of the winter. There we go. So, and actually I haven't got any haul. Woohoo! Well, not strictly true. I haven't got any physical haul, but what I have done is I have signed up for the Jingle Ball. So have you signed up for the Jingle Ball? Are you going to be there as well? Do let me know if you are, and maybe we can meet up in one of the Stitchy rooms at some point over the weekend. I have signed up for the Stacey Nash class as well. This is the project that Stacey's doing. I haven't had my PDF yet for it, but I can't wait to get that. And actually, that is going to be another start as well. So that is, yes, that's one knocked off. So yeah, yeah, it'll be more than 50. It will be more than 50 this year. So I just adored this, and thought, so obviously if you're in America, you may be able to still do this class by getting the kit. I'm not sure if that one is sold out or not yet, but for those of us who aren't in America, we are able to buy a PDF of this chart so that we can stitch it up, and then we can take part in the class that Stacey is running. Now, actually, I've got a feeling that class is at midnight UK time or 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm not sure, can't remember. But again, by paying and taking part in the classes, you can watch them up to 30 days after the Jingle Ball. So I'm not sure that I'll actually watch it on the night. And certainly I won't at midnight be sat doing it as Stacey's doing it. If I do anything, I'll just sit and watch it. But yeah, hopefully the PDF will arrive soon. I'm going to start stitching that because I love it, and I'm probably will be stitching it on one of Marie's fabrics because she's got a pink that will go perfectly, absolutely perfectly. I think will be just great for it. So I have got a little bit of haul in that I've paid for my Jingle Ball ticket, and I have paid for the Stacey Nash class as well, but haven't got anything else to show you. I've been pretty good. After all my spending at Stitch in London. And actually I have got so Michelle from Stitch Mania Stash kindly has gifted me some tickets for the Harrogate knitting and stitching show, taking my mum to that. And I messaged Sherry, just so Sherry, because she had said on her Flosstube that she's going, and I said, what day are you going? And it works out we're going the same day, and I think she's also meeting up with Lauren from Flossabilities and Mama Flossabilities as well, so hopefully we'll all be able to have a quick cup of tea together and say hi and catch up. So thank you, Michelle, for the tickets. That's absolutely fantastic. She just put a post on Facebook to say, I've got a couple of complimentary tickets. Would anyone like them? And I think I was the only person who said, yes, please. So that was absolutely fantastic. So no doubt, I said to Sherry, I don't need to spend any money when we're at Harrogate. And she said, well, no, neither do I. We've got enough to keep us going, but that's not going to stop us, is it? And no, it probably won't. But there we go. Anyway, I do have some lovely charts. that I've either stitched or I've been gifted, and I'm not going to stitch over the kind of last few months, that I'd like to do a giveaway with and share them with you, just to say thank you for subscribing. So if you'd like to enter, I'll give you a word for each of them. Pop the word in your comment down below. Please be 18 so that I can ask you for your address so I can send them to you. And I will send these anywhere in the world. So if you're international, please do enter, because I will send us overseas as well. So the first one I'm going to offer is the summer bouquet that I've just finished by Yasmin's Made with Love. Excuse me. If you can use the word summer if you'd like to win that one. Another summer one. This is a Stitch Quarterly by It's So Emma one. This is Hello Summer. If you could use the word hello. And then another Stitch Quarterly one. This is the Autumn Spice one. How about using the word spice in that one? I think that would be great. And then there's a little French poodle one here. So this is from JBW Designs. So how about the word, let's put the word French. My friends from the Soul Stitchers might like that. Use the word French for that one. And then finally, this lovely Cottage Garden Samplings one. It's the greenhouse. Let's use the word greenhouse on that one. So there's 5 charts there. So to be in with a chance of winning one, please do put a comment below with the word for 1, 2, or all of them. Please be a subscriber as well. This is for my subscribers to say thank you for supporting me, keeping coming back and watching me, commenting. I love the comments, and I do try my hardest to reply to every single comment. I've been a bit slow this time round, I will admit. It's taken me a bit longer to kind of keep up with the comments because I've not always felt great. I usually try and sit in bed in the morning and reply to all my comments, because often those of you who are in America, if you're watching at night, they come in and your comments come in the middle of the night, so I read them in the morning. But I've just it's just been waking up still feeling tired, and been kind of trying to get a bit more sleep, so I've not been quite as good at keeping up with replying to them all, but I will. Everyone will get a reply. So that's it. Thank you for joining me. It has been wonderful to talk to you as always. I really enjoy it. And just, all the comments just keep me coming back, and all the support that I get from you all out there is just wonderful. I love showing you my stitching, just as much as I love seeing other people's as well. So thank you to all my fellow Flosstubers out there who keep me entertained as well. And I did have a little bit of a break from watching, just with not feeling 100%. I was still stitching, but not really able to do that and Flosstube. So I do need to have a good old catch up on Flosstube. So I will let you know next time some of the people that I have been watching. So that's all for now. Thank you for joining me, and take care, and I shall see you all soon. Bye.